All right, what's up, Smashers? We're going to be talking about all kinds of fun stuff today. Why? Because my boy Joe DeFranco, there you go, got a rep. And by the way, that's Kyle right there, holding the weight. He just did a sick workout with me and completely kicked my ass. It was awesome. So he's a savage little athlete. So we're going to be talking about minor slap tear. Now I have to put the word minor in there because, I'm going to throw this in here, by the way. That right there is Eric. Eric's a badass. Super cool dude, great friend. He's moving. I think we should everybody message me and tell me he shouldn't move. So I'm expecting at least 10, 15,000 messages saying Eric should stay. So listen, we're gonna be talking about slap tear because Joe said to me, when Joe sent me a message the other day about an athlete that he deals with, and I'm not gonna tell you who it is because I don't know if it's supposed to be public knowledge or not, but he was talking about a minor slap tear. So you know what we're gonna do? We're gonna fix it. Why? Because Joe's badass and I fucking love Joe. So here's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna show you what to do with a slap tear. So the thing with a slap tear is, and I know I'm walking all over the place, I just don't want to stand in front of a bathroom and I got a class going on in the background, so I'm trying to do all this as fast as possible so we can get that stuff out to you guys. And I figure, here's the deal. If there's a slap tear with one person, there's a slap tear with about 1 million people. So, and a lot of times, not even a slap tear. I have another good friend of mine. He has a relative, a sibling who went and got surgery for a slap tear. It wasn't even a slap tear. So you want to make sure that's what it is. Now, if it's a minor slap tear, a couple of things, you don't need surgery. If it's a full-on, yeah, go get that thing hacked open and fixed. But you want to avoid a lot of overhead pressing and overhead holds because what they're going to do is they're going to jack you up. Also, wide pull-ups, anything bench press, heavy bench, heavy deads, even all that stuff's not good. So I'm going to show you what to do to help rehab that super fast, keep it from seizing up on you. So when you're doing all the training you need to do, you can still maintain a consistent level of training, even if it's a little lower, through that injury, and we can get you through the injury a little faster, right? So what we want to do is we're going to do pressing movements out instead of overhead, just to keep the strength up. And you know what? Screw it, I'll show you. This is super cool stuff. Remember, slap tear is the labrum, right? So we got that labrum torn. What ends up happening is that teres minor, which essentially holds the shoulder down and against the body. It's one of the sits muscles. What happens is that teres minor starts to get loose and starts to roll the shoulder around and let that head of that humerus roll around inside that capsule. So what I'm going to do is clear all that up. First thing I got to do is get big time strong and fix the mechanics of the shoulder, because if the mechanics of the shoulder are foobar, and if you guys don't know what foobar is, watch Tango and Cash, but if the mechanics of the shoulder are foobar, then you know what happens is everything else gets hijacked because the shoulder starts to roll forward in a compensatory reaction because it wants to avoid any kind of movement because it hurts, right? So we get an injury-based motor pattern, and then what happens? Yeah, you're screwed. So first thing we do is we get a band. So we're gonna get 2 bands. So we have a band on the rig attached to another band, and you'll see why in a second. So check this out. See if we can pull this off. So what we do is we take the band. You can see what I've got here. The band is coming off. I'm gonna put the bands in the wrist. I'm going to load it up. I'm going to pull it towards me. So I'm pulling up, right? So the elbows, I'm leading with the elbows. I'm not pulling straight out. So the band is a little bit lower, about sternum height. So we're going to pull up, externally rotate, come back, forward. So it's part of a variation of a Cuban press, right? So we're like this, pull as far as you can without hyperextending the back. So pull, externally rotate, and back. 3 sets of 10. That's number 1. Do this stuff, it's important. Number 2 is we're going to do what's called a low bully stretch. So we're going to bring the band all the way to the bottom. So if we look at the old classic banded bully, I don't want the band pulling up and behind you because it's going to hurt. And you're going to do damage. You want to have it pulling from the bottom of the rig instead. So wrap the wrist up. You're going to ease into this. So the palm is this way, band is at the bottom. You're going to turn and you're going to just rotate away and let it pull that arm down and back into some internal rotation. Hang out like this for how long? 2 minutes. That's number 2. And part of the problem is that posterior capsule gets all loaded up and filled with adhesions. So I'm going to show you how to fix that with something called a peanut. By the way, if you're not wearing a lime green DeFranco gym shirt, none of this stuff works. It's just that simple. You should go on the site, just order a bunch of shirts. So that posterior capsule, all through here, we want to clean that up, clean the mechanics up. We're going to use a peanut. So a peanut is 2 lacrosse balls to trap all that. And then we're going to do what's called horizontal abduction. So lock that peanut in there. So you can see the peanut's trapping the belly of the muscle. We're going to bring the arm all the way out. Oh, this is uncomfortable. You think I had a slap tear. Touch wood. And then you're just going to come across. It seems really simple, but you're bringing the arm all the way across the body And if you can't go up this high, start lower and do it down here. So ideally, I'd want you at 90, perpendicular to your torso, right? So you want to come all the way across and all the way back down. 3 sets of 10, same as the other 2 movements. 3 sets of 10. Don't do this. Lean on your arm, roll on it, use the opposite arm that doesn't have the injury. All right, that's number 3. Number 4, I grab the band. This is important. So the mechanics of this one are pretty strict. And all these movements need to be done as strict as possible. So it's not about weight. So we're gonna grab the band, we're gonna sit like this. You're gonna take your shoulders, you're gonna push your shoulder blades down as hard as you can. So we're engaging that teres to drag that shoulder, the head of the humerus, down into the bottom of the socket, and it's gonna wind the capsule up in a little bit of a different way. You're gonna take your hands, open them up, light band. Don't use a heavy band. I don't care how strong you are, light band. So push the shoulders down, and then just externally rotate, and come back to neutral. Keep the band loaded. Don't do this. All right, so you're like this. Suck the shoulders all the way down. Externally rotate, back to neutral, loaded band. Externally rotate, back to neutral, loaded band. Remember that, it's important to keep it loaded. 3 sets of 10. Last one is a kneeling landmine press. The difference with a landmine press is it drives the weight this way versus this way, so you can still maintain some press strength, which you're gonna need, and go through that range of motion that your shoulder needs to rehab. And then there's a couple other things I would tell you to do, but these are gonna be off record that, sorry man, I'm not gonna tell you online. Stuff that'll work really well. So what we do is we grab this. This is a 35, not a 45. Trailing leg, almost eat it. Make sure it's anchored in the corner, and all you're gonna do is push straight up. So I'm driving straight up. The elbow's gonna flare out a little bit. I don't want it tucked in, I don't want it all the way out. I just want it out a little bit to engage a lot of that scapula. All the way up, all the way down to neutral. All the way up, all the way down to neutral. And here's the thing. You're doing this all on the side with the minor slap tear. Do it on the side without it too, so you keep both shoulders symmetrical. That's important because otherwise your movement gets hijacked. And that's it. That's how you deal with a minor slap tear. Hey listen, I'm Trev, SmashweRx, hanging out at Delta on a Friday. I'll check you guys out later.